Yo ho ho! What's going on, guys? This is Grim Reaper bringing you guys another session of the Boar Hat Podcast. Luckily, today we're able to cover chapter 279. I have some of the usual drunkards here with me, Zarsa and Kishin Prime. What's going on, guys?
Hey.
What's going on?
Anything you guys want to plug in? Anything you guys did recently? Any new videos, anything like that?
I'm a bum.
Okay.
No, that was it. I'm a bum. I don't do shit.
Yeah, really the only thing interesting was that discussion on Shinzo from My Hero and like what his kind of role for the future of the series could be.
Oh shit! All right, bet. Check out that video in the description, guys. So TAIZAI today. Chapter ratings. What's up?
I definitely enjoyed it, for sure.
Same here. Give it a quick rating. I give it an 8. I would have rated it higher. No, I would rate the last chapter or two chapters ago a bit higher, probably.
Okay. I rated this one an 8 too. A lot of like great reviews and shit. I was like into it.
I'd probably give it a 4 out of 5 for a specific number.
Okay.
I was like extremely excited when we finally got the reveal of King's sixth form in the chastity fold. That was like, oh my god! The fact that it was the first page that got me, and then what got me was basically finding out what the other symbols of the commandments are gonna do for him. That is shit.
I will agree. I will agree on both points. I kind of expected King to have some kind of armor because he's just like Luxinia. He would have the same armor. So the design of it was pretty cool. I would say that. I like the little black hood and everything. However, the commandments and what MAELS was doing with them, I thought that was even cooler, to be totally honest with you, because literally just kind of came out of nowhere, just making stuff like out of thin air, and then just be like, "Yep, toss commandment on it, it's good." That right there, probably like the bigger, the greater the highlight in the chapter for me.
Yeah, I definitely did like how it's so much different than Gloxinia's form. I mean, you actually have like defined weapons. It's not just like generic claws. The hood was a little disappointing for me, but I guess that is from his regular clothing. So, what can you do?
Is it? I thought it was part of the.
That's what it looks
like. No. That's his hood. Yeah, he's always had the hood. Okay. I definitely concur that the appearance.
But he is Iron Man basically because he got little jet boots on.
True.
I wasn't extra impressed by the design, but just knowing what Yidra armor is supposed to do, I was really excited to see that. King, we've talked about it before. King in general, bro, he's on his warrior's path and shit. This is another step along the way. How effective was he this chapter? He was the only one to hit Mile as of yet so far, in terms of like.
Sadly, it didn't seem to do like major damage because was it in the one that didn't work or was it the one before where it was discussing like if he can't heal.
I said it last stream, but yeah, it seems as though because he has like the two conflicting natures inside of him, he won't really have that kind of restorative or regenerative abilities. However, I think because he's so goddamn powerful that it's kind of hard to really do damage to him at this point. I mean, don't get me wrong, King was really, he was putting in most of the work in terms of actual attack. But for the most part, I mean, his friends were buffing him up, and the fact that even Gother said that half-hearted attacks wouldn't even work. I mean, it kind of downplays what was being set up for the last chapter. But I mean, they did come through trying to give this man the works. It's not their fault that he's overpowered at this point.
Yeah, a point of contention I had during my reaction was, how is Diane's power affecting King at all?
Yo, I'm in the process of going back to see what Dolores' dance is supposed to do, especially because I thought it was supposed to just intune you with the ground and amplify your strength and your magic already.
Yeah, and right now King's kind of the furthest thing from the ground.
True. I think it was more nature, right? Yeah,
nature.
It was more like nature.
Yeah, nature.
It was more like nature, and technically because King's magic disaster kind of like also puts him in like a little bit of a intunement with nature as well. I would kind of see it as like they're both very symbiotic, fairies and giants. The fact that Diane's dance kind of like I guess affected him in some way. I don't know.
I mean, I'm not averse to believing that she could amplify any species.
Yeah. So again, it's not impossible. Plus, you have Gother there too with this kaleidoscope, because it was a 3-way attack. So you have to imagine that all their magics are kind of in sync. Think Fairy Tail and their Union Raid. I know we don't like Fairy Tail around here, but I'm saying that like their Union Raid, they kind of mix magics together and everything. Dolores' dance is technically magic in a sense, so I wouldn't be opposed to like Diane's magic basically buffing up any stats or like magical ability, and then from there go through this kaleidoscope, fucking around with Mael with illusions, and then from there King and his speed is just stupid overpowered, and from there that's the attack, because basically it was just a rush.
I could definitely yield in the previous 278 discussion Boar Hat Podcast we did. I think you mentioned that this Trinity attack wouldn't be necessarily a combination attack, but more of a tandem attack where they're working together, and that's exactly what it turned out to be. Now, I wasn't because of Diane's role. I definitely wasn't anywhere near as excited as what I thought it would be. It was very cool what how Gother was able to give the input of like the illusions on top of Mael, as well as like how fast King was able to like perform in his Yidra armor, being fearless to physically fight the Angel of Death, and then Diane boosting him up. It definitely was an effective attack. I just, because it didn't do that much at all, because it wasn't effective, and because Diane didn't really fucking like do anything, I was not only underwhelmed, but like, why do it?
I feel you. I mean, you know what? Here's the thing. They didn't really have all that much to lose doing it in the first place, and it was something. And basically, here's the thing. I like the combo attack only because one, it shows how desperate they were. They were desperate enough to pull off something that even Gother said was a half-hearted, but they knew that they had to try something. Because at the end of the day, we have 3 sins. One of them, one of them's already been damaged. Scratch that, 2 of them have already been damaged pretty well. So what are you gonna do? Like, don't get me wrong.
In the storm.
Exactly, and at the end of the day, it wasn't like the attack was terrible. If it were anyone else, they'd be bodied. We know that.
I'll definitely give it to that. There was a lot to talk about. Okay, so I guess we could just start from the top then. After the attack wasn't as successful as what we wanted it to be,
he started going down the line of his commandments.
Yeah, but before we get into that part, I wanna talk about Ro, because he did hold significance. But hold on, before we even get into that, did he give the Yidra armor to Diane?
No, I don't believe so.
Hold on, because for some reason in the first page when you look at Diane's chest, it's the same design that's on King's.
The first page. Hold on.
Yeah.
First page.
Check that.
I think, unless I'm so you see King's design on his chest, and then look at Diane.
Okay. Yeah, I see that.
And then she says,
flower thingy.
Yeah,
and
she says,
yeah, kind of that design, but I'm still not seeing it on Diane. But let's see.
Page 3 on Manga C. She says, "Let's do this, Chastity Fool," as well. And then you see those similar designs, and she has armor. That's weird though. In the very next panel, she doesn't have it on though.
Mostly because on page 3, that's King you see in that first panel.
Yeah, bro.
That's King.
I kept thinking, I was like, he doesn't have anything on the Why?
Bro, it's the combination of the hoodie and then the little bangs on top of his head. Like,
yeah.
Oh man. Bro.
However, I'm not gonna lie though. Like this angle, the armor kind of looks pretty cool. I like the design.
Right.
Like I really do. Close up, it really does look cool.
Hell yeah. But like, I'll definitely like. Are his legs, bro? No, I guess those are fucking. I guess you can call them rockets if you want.
I mean, if he really even uses, like, here's the thing: does he really need to have rockets? He has wings and he can levitate.
Well, but this boosts his speed. That's probably its only real function here.
Fair enough. Because I mean, technically, that's exactly.
No, yeah, exactly. It has the thrusting coming out the back. Yeah, so agreed.
Yeah. Again, though, this like Diane dancing, I don't know what exactly she's doing. Like, here's the thing. It made sense if she were throwing her hammer up in there, every so often. It makes sense, but it's like the dancing is just. What does it do? I mean, if it boosts, fine. It boosts, but to me, it's like come on. Like,
well, it says both of their power levels are going up, and then so think about it. So King, you make a strong attacker, King. And then he increases his speed and his attacking ability physically. That's how they're going to decide to beat Mael, I guess. And then you amplify him. And you keep amplifying him because that's as long as Diane's dance keeps going, he'll keep getting stronger. And then you protect him by putting several illusions there. And because he has amplified speed, now Mael is getting speed blitz by overwhelming directions with overwhelming speed and strength. So it's not completely inconceivable why to do the technique. It's just that because it didn't demoralize Mael. It just seems.
I don't even know if you can demoralize him. He doesn't really seem to talk or anything.
Yeah, honestly. Here's what I'll say. Here's this. So I remember I was talking about the Union Raid bit. And Black Clover also does the same thing because again, these are all magic-based series. I guess whenever you do like a combination attack, all of your magic is like naturally synced. So yeah, when Diane dances, technically her power does grow. So if she's syncing with everyone else, then obviously so yeah. Okay, I can see how they're getting bugged. Other than that, it was a good try. Getting on to Mael, yeah, this guy. I don't think this guy has said a single word since he's transformed.
Yeah, because usually, like the attacks and stuff, that's just for the reader's benefit.
Yeah,
that's not always them saying it. So, yeah, I really kind of wonder about his mental state anymore. Like, can he even talk? Does he have a face? These are the questions.
Well, one thing that I saw that changed in how Nakaba was drawing him at the minimum, at the least, is that he seems a little bit more crouched over, and I saw that in all the pictures. He seems more crouched over for a fact. I don't know if that's because I would say it's because of the pair of wings. How they're positioned, but it's not that. He's slouched over. So in tandem with the fact that he hasn't spoken, like you pointed out, his face is covered. I could see him being in a trance or something. But
I think that if anything, the posture itself might just be an artistic decision on Nakaba's part, because at the end of the day, most time we see a foreboding, creeping individual. A crouched back is normally what you see, it kind of gives because he'd be taller than most people, so obviously he had to crouch over you, kind of go over you, in a sense. If you kind of,
they usually always have some awkward pose to kind of unnerve you because it looks unnatural, so to speak.
Exactly. That's basically what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean. Posture. I mean, yeah, definitely he was crouching I don't know, whatever.
All right, so let's talk about Ro or Oslo for a little bit. As we all know, Oslo is the dog that's been the partner of King since he's been since he's been in the storyline and much before that as well.
AKA the greatest human warrior 3,000 years ago, destroyer of Sigma.
Definitely unconfirmed. But
Definitely confirmed. Def confirmed.
regardless of that, he's reincarnated. We can, through proper assumptions and through what the story is heavily alluded to, almost 100% sure that Ro is that Oz is the reincarnation of Ro. That's what's been shown as. At the beginning on the cover page, Nakama gave us the reminder of what Gerard and Matrona were doing, along with some of the other members of Stigma, as they're protecting the Fairy Forest. And it was a good segue to introduce her relevance into this chapter, because as Oslo was doing his ultimate sacrifice to protect the king, he actually addressed her, and it seems as if Gerard actually recognized it. This is one of the longer lasting loves in TAIZAI, longer than Bond's love, longer than Guild Thunder and Margaret's very, very long time. Intertwined with so many different characters and their emotional ties and their growth, whether it's King's Warrior's past, whether it's Gloxinia's decision that changed his entire life and basically doomed the Fairy Clan, Dolores involved in the situation as well. Several things happened with the betrayal of Stigma, led by Ro. So, in hindsight, what do you guys think about Ro as a character? Kishin, go first.
He's definitely earned a bit more respect given his traitorous past. I mean,
Thor's about to go in. Finish Kishin.
You're
No. I'll let y'all.
I heard those claws going ching.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I say go first, because I know Zach's trying to get in the hat.
But yeah, I really don't have too much to say about it other than, it was a very heroic act. I mean, it's yet to really be seen what the end result will be, other than a charred dog body, if anything's left.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll give you that.
But I mean, it'll at least probably make a cone or something to lessen the damage. But it was a nice sacrifice. Kind of a little bit of a character arc that maybe most don't really see as a character arc. But that's about all I have to really say. Okay, now you can tear into me.
No. Honestly, you're not wrong. He was in fact a traitor. Here's the thing. I know that Ro was a traitor. We all know that Ro was a traitor. But at the same time, was he betraying himself? Not really. He was only trying to get revenge, and that's not being a traitor. That's just getting revenge. Okay.
But revenge gets more revenge.
Exactly. This whole point. But here's what I'll say about 2,000 years ago, boss. Now just a dog. Has some his sacrifice was definitely meant a lot. I mean, the dude was already okay getting himself fucking eviscerated by Gloxinia years ago. So him sacrificing himself now, again, very heroic. Honestly, I do agree with the character arc, because I mean, it's a character that we thought was dead and wasn't really relevant, but technically also still was relevant. I didn't expect him to, because it's weird. He'll talk to King as if yeah, he's my king, but then at the same time it's when he's basically on the verge of death, or when his life flashed before his eyes, he's talking to Gerard. So I'm thinking, is it Oslo is one personality, but the reincarnation itself still remembers his past as Ro? Because that was one bit of confusion for me. Because the thing is, right, he'll talk as if he's one person, but then he'll go ahead and then start talking to Gerard. So what form should I take? As in what should I do? I'll protect the stuff that you want to protect. I guess paying his dues. And I said before, this series has a lot about repentance and again paying back your dues. So him sacrificing himself wasn't surprising. If anything, I was curious as to why he said what form he should take. Does that mean that he knows he can just reincarnate? Has Ro mastered reincarnation? That's my question.
Well,
I don't know exactly how the reincarnation is going to work. It's been shown in different lights and different aspects, and we've seen different types of magic that bring back the dead. So I wouldn't be
Every series always handles it differently.
Yeah, I wouldn't be adverse to seeing it done anyway. Nakaba hasn't ruined any type of those aspects.
Sure. I mean, let's be honest. Nakaba could bring in one character that brings back the other dead half of the cast. So would not be surprising because it happens all the time. But it is what it is.
Hopefully the series doesn't pull a Naruto.
I really hope not too. But at the same time, it's like I really do Ro, and let's see a fight between Ro and Bond. Like, cool.
Oh, like the first 5 minutes is, hey, you stole my face. Well, you're a thief, so maybe you stole my face.
Damn. I even think that shit.
So to move on to the meat of the discussion today.
The meat and potatoes.
Mayo reviewed three of the four essential elements of his power. We now can confirm the uses of purity, silence, love, and truth in Mayo's body. There are some discrepancies in what we currently understand, and we're waiting for more information. And there's also some things that we should discuss and try to elaborate upon today. So we're going to go through each commandment, try and give out all the previous information that we know, all the new details that we got from this chapter, and then we're going to speculate and then move on to the next one. So to start off, we have love. Previously, love was a commandment that if you felt hatred or revenge, you couldn't fight. Now, was that towards like the person?
That's towards anyone.
Anyone.
Yeah, because even the user can be affected by their commandments.
Yes. Well, hold on. Before we even get into the commandments, just real quick disclaimer. If one commandment cannot be affected by another commandment, however, only that said commandment can be affected by their commandment. If that makes sense.
Yes.
If I hold love, but I have hate, I'll be useless most of the time. But if you have purity, you'll be fine, and you can hate the shit out of me.
No doubt.
So you're kind of thinking that's how he's able to do anything at all right now? Because he's running on pure hate right now.
I mean, shit, I hope so. The formula fucking screams hate. A lot of hate.
That's a good point. I do like that. I didn't think about that.
We still haven't gotten a declaration or an explanation as to why he's able, besides the whole goddess. No, he doesn't have a blessing. Yeah, as to why he's able to wield multiple commandments and they won't afflict each other.
I actually came up with a quick theory about it, and I think it's because here's the thing. We can all say and we'll get back to the commandment thing real soon, but here's what I'm saying. At the end of the day, we all know that sunshine seems to be the sun seems to be the strongest grace out of all four graces. And that grace itself is basically like a well of power that basically expands as the day goes on until it reaches noon. So I'm thinking that because he became as powerful as he did, and then was given the grace, right? Now that he doesn't have the grace anymore, he's still he's still capable of holding in a crap ton of power.
Do I sound okay? I'm on my phone.
Yeah, you sound. Yeah, you're fine.
All right, bet. So, sorry.
Now you're good. Anyway, so my thing is, it's because I feel as though because Male was basically dealing with a whole lot of power way back in the day, even though it's affecting his mind adversely, he's still capable of handling all that power due to the fact that the sun itself potentially eclipsed more than one commandment in terms of power.
Okay, I disagree with that completely.
How?
I don't know. I just think that like it either has to do with like.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, did I tell you they weren't gonna do shit to him though?
Man, yeah.
Yeah, actually, before we continue,
my name ring bells, boy.
Crazy.
Before we continue, Naya, if you give us your rating for the chapter and then your thoughts.
I thought it was cool. I liked it. I feel like we could kind of speed through it a little bit faster. I get it. He's like mad powerful, but it was cool to like see him flex off his various commandment abilities and stuff, bring out the bell and shit. It was all cool. I actually liked the what King was doing. That was actually pretty dope. I was like cool. I was like, oh shit, the like armor shit. I was messing with it.
Of course you were, nigga.
It was a why would I? But yeah, man. I mean, I didn't really care for what remind me what the dog's name is, like the
Oslo.
Yeah, I don't care what the dog died. I don't feel bad.
It is what it is.
See, this is exactly what I was talking about earlier. People sleeping on the character arc.
It's not even like, it's just like, why was I supposed to feel bad?
It's because he's not just a dog.
So?
So,
Like, it felt like random, like, oh, my king, no. Alright, I'll sacrifice. I'm like, bitch, I don't, like, okay. Like, you were a portal for, like, so long. Like, I'm not gonna suddenly care.
wow. You feel like that, huh? Just like that, huh?
Yeah.
Just like that.
You.
Just like that. I mean, you know what? Again, if I were anyone else, I would probably feel the same. But at the same time, it's like I enjoyed Ro as a character, so I can So like seeing him sacrifice himself was kind of a big deal. Well, not too much of a big deal for me because like at the end of the day, it's like he'd probably die anyway. I mean, like let's be honest, I saw Derriere die in front of me, so what am I supposed to do? At this point, everyone's dying. Like first Derriere, now Ro. Who else? Who else? Like, this dude's like this author's literally destroying my heart. Like all the people that that I actually care about are dying.
Alright.
That's why you don't want to put too much investment.
Should have praised the sun, man. Goddamn.
I still do to this day. To this day, I still praise the sun, and nothing.
You just don't like to show up. It's always a cloudy day.
Yeah, always a cloudy day when he wants to come through.
Pledge your allegiance to the sun god.
Curse you, Weather Channel.
But no,
it was a dope chapter though. But I'm kind of ready to like get past this and let's start to kind of end the conflict with Mael.
that's what. Honestly, here's the thing. I don't even care if they end the conflict right now. I'd love to see a different part of war because now it's
that too. Yeah.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, it's like you don't normally. This is a rare chance, right? It's a rare chance for a manga to jump into a war aspect, and I really want to see it. Like the front page with the giants and the fairy, with the giant clan and the fairy clan working together to face off against the demons, and destroy their guard. I guess like their rear guard or whatever. I don't know which position. Like the chapter cover said that get away from the fairy forest. So I'm assuming that's what they were doing. The demons were attacking the fairy forest. At the same time, it's like I really, really, really want to see other battlefields, or rather, like other points in the battlefield. Because don't get me wrong, Mael going crazy is cool and everything, but like he's been slapping people down for like about 3, 4, 5 chapters now.
You mean he's been getting held off? You mean he's been getting held off for 4 to 5 chapters?
He's been slapping people around.
You mean Harlequin's been leading the charge against the Angel of Death and 4 Commandments?
Meaning he's been slapping dudes around for the last 3, 4, 5 chapters now. So I'd love to see.
Meaning Lord Harlequin's been leading the charge against the strongest nigga besides Meliodas?
I mean, I get what he's saying, but he's not winning. He's on the losing end, but I get what you're saying.
Man, nigga, matter of fact, 10 times ago, no nigga would tell you, oh, King can fight the Angel of Death. King will survive. No nigga was telling you that. No nigga would say, oh, besides me. No nigga fucking tell you, oh, King's gonna lead the charge, man. No nigga would say that. But he's doing that, bro.
Alright, stop jerking.
Yeah, I'm jerking hard, nigga. Alright.
I was right, you're all wrong. I'm better than you.
Crazy.
Alright. So let's get back on topic, though. Alright, so let's we'll start from the top. The Bell of Truth. Excuse me, we're on love. The Orb of Love. Its original constitution was, as we saw, the restriction against hate towards the target or in the area. And we now see a second ability that love, once manifested in this form, does. An explosive attack that, when you receive damage from it, you slowly fall asleep instead of receiving pain. And that's how you inevitably die. We then get the second commandment. Alright, before we move on, is there any thoughts or any speculation on that? How devastating it is? Is that the strongest attack we've seen? What are you guys thinking about that?
I kind of wonder how it works. Is like maybe it like sucks in all the hate and then releases it, and that's why it explodes. That's the only reason why it works that way to me. I don't know. Anybody else got a thought on that?
Nah.
Because it didn't even seem to have like a physical form like the other ones we see.
I don't know, it's kind of hard to say. Let me think about it. Give me a second, let me think about it.
Because if it had more defined form,
I'm gonna pull up again and see.
I'll jump through. So, the way I see it, it kind of reminds me of that one dude from, again, I'm sorry about this, but Fairy Tail. I think it was Rockheed. Rockheed basically had about the same power. basically he would like he could hurt you, but like it would feel so good that like the pain that basically like you would feel.
Oh,
ecstatic.
I remember that. Yeah.
Exactly, but in this case, I think it's because of like his goddess nature and the fact that they can heal. Like he can make like essentially he can make things feel good, but like even though like they hurt like a bitch, and basically it's like you're dying from shock, but you're slowly falling asleep, and you should not fall asleep or like even pass out when you've been gravely injured because you're basically gonna die.
Yeah,
it's
that's
like a slow, painful. Yeah, so like painless death.
That's how I also interpreted that. It's still the same like regular attack, but it just removes the pain, and it has the effect of numbing your death. Basically.
Not even just that. But to add on, you can tell the reason why is it's manifested as an orb of light with love itself. So essentially, it's more towards the goddess side of things. With the healing and with the healing and the invigorating and all that other.
It's like a blissful, graceful death, like an angel, like this, guiding you to the afterlife, kind of thing. I
exactly.
All right. The next commandment on the listings is the bell of truth. Now, initially, the commandment of truth was used in a vocal, truthful sense. Whenever an individual lied or had different intentions than what they were speaking at in front of the user, they would turn to stone. This happened to Merlin, and this happened to Galen himself. Now it constitutes something weird. It didn't seem like it did damage to King. It just attacked the illusions. So my thoughts on it that like maybe it's like an audit. Let me hear your thoughts on the concept first.
It seems auditory. Like I feel I want to like why making a bell, right? So I feel like you have to hear it.
I agree with you on that one.
So I would say it's not necessarily auditory, but rather the bell of truth seems to go directly against illusions, and it seems, and because of Gotha's power invasion, though those illusions were basically used on him himself. He would like, because the thing is, think about it. It's not necessarily that he was hearing these illusions, but rather like these illusions were affecting his mind. So it's like he didn't know exactly where to hit or where to attack, and then from there, King could basically zip through the illusions and land his attacks whenever he needed to. I would say that if anything, this bell essentially goes against any brainwashing for the most part. Like you can truly see what's actually going on. Because remember, like invasion is supposed to be giving you like illusions through your mind, supposed to be affecting your mind. And both the God clan and the Demon clan have both had similar techniques in their repertoire. And I mean, Male himself has also been affected by it too. So, pretty much don't want to get affected by that anymore.
The reason why I think the initial, my bad, Kishin, the initial addition of like saying that it may be auditory in its manner of like attack or hitting a target, is because when he did it, we get a box. This is like, is he ringing a victory bell? What is this ominous bell ringing? It's made very, very clear. Even Diane notices it like while it's going on. So I really have to like. You are right to say that like it's only targeting the illusions, so maybe like physically affecting the illusions. But what if it has a different effect? I believe that if like let's say it has a destructive effect, that the physical objects, because they heard it, they would also be hurt. So yeah, I do believe it's through auditory transmission instead of like just regular magic. Where you're in the zone, I can hit you. I think it's like if you hear it, you're able to be hit by it, but it only affects illusions.
Well, I feel like it's kind of supposed to be a little symbolic of the truth, where it's like you can't show me lies. I can see through the illusion with the bell, but I still think you have to hear it for it to like kind of work. At least that's how I interpreted it.
I've heard the bell just fucking beat up the illusions like it wasn't. Yeah.
Or maybe like wherever like the sound waves carry, as long as it hits you, it works. Maybe that's a possibility. Like I feel like what if you heard it, but if you were way out of its range, you think it would affect you?
Well, that's the thing. Technically, if you hear it, you're not out of its range. If it's an auditory attack, you can't be out of its range.
I will bring up the fact that Gother was the one to use invasion on Galen and make him believe that he killed the Sins, and then he was still perfectly fine because he himself truly believed that he didn't die, or rather that he killed him, and he wasn't affected by his commandments. So there's definitely a correlation between illusions and mind manipulation, along with truth. Or at least, like, there's some correlation, some small correlation, and I think that might have been it for the most part.
Like the objective truth instead of like the absolute truth.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
It definitely made it harder because of how it's used the two different times we've really seen it. So this could be like phase 1 attack, and then like when it, you actively lie, outright. Maybe that's when you would turn to stone. I don't know.
Well, I would consider an illusion an active outright lie.
Yeah, for the most part, I would no. You know what? If anything, I would probably change him because he has all these commandments together. It's like,
well, you're showing him something false though. It's not real. So.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, but if anything, the thing that does contrast is that before, the commandment holder had to hear the lie, while here, like, you're producing a sound. So I guess that would be another big difference in terms of the actions. Well, this another part is that we still haven't seen like these commandments work in dual form. Dual form, I mean their previous activation, and then this new one that we've just seen. We haven't seen that yet, especially the fact that he himself, as we mentioned earlier, is not being inflicted by any of them. So we don't know if he can still manifest those original abilities. I'm assuming that he should, but
that'd be too broken. That'd be too broken.
Yeah, I definitely feel like if he starts using multiple commandments, it's like, what if they come in opposition of each other? Like love and truth. Like, what if he truly doesn't want revenge? It's just, him reacting to the situation, and then he got angry and then started doing the rampage. But he didn't really want to do it, it was just how he reacted in the moment. So then would truth cause him to just then turn into stone?
Or maybe love even like depower him completely?
Oh, that too. I mean, like I said, I don't, So him dual wielding, that's going to be like maybe right at the end of the fight, and then it's going to maybe open a chance, like, because he'll be in a more weakened state because of his own stupidity, and then they'll be able to strike him. I don't know.
All right. The next commandment,
in the sense of purity.
no, the scythe of silence.
It's retentance. I've never figured that out.
Yeah.
Though it said as silence in this one, which I thought was a kind of a
reticence is what Mospier had.
Yeah, silence.
Yeah. You can call them interchangeable. But all right. So initially, we weren't necessarily told exactly what Montpellier's commandment worked, or how it worked. We did know that he was being afflicted by it, that he couldn't confess his love because of his commandment. Now we see it in the second sense, where it's turned into an actual physical object, a materialization of it. And when it cuts you, you lose the ability to manifest your magic. Now, immediately when it occurred, Diane used heavy metal, it seemed like, to stop the bleeding. And then King found the wound, and then they both called out to Elizabeth to hurry up and heal them. So it seems like maybe even healing the wounds will dispel this effect.
Maybe she can restore magic too.
Maybe she could restore magic too. Could you guys elaborate?
She's so broken, Loki.
Yeah. Could you guys elaborate on the Scythe of Silence?
He literally casted silence, like from an RPG, and he's like, "No magic for you, Nick." MPs.
Crazy.
Shit was fucking
Crazy.
fire. I was like,
Yeah, it was. I would like to add the fact that King literally had to touch the ground for once, because this dude was only and everything. So yeah, his powers really were sealed. I don't know exactly if that would be if it has the same ability or the same effect if Montpellier was using the commandment against someone else, or if the person was afflicted with his commandment. But I'm assuming, I guess that would have happened to him too. He would have lost the ability to use his magic, maybe, if he fucking said anything. I don't know, because again, you don't know what these things could have done. But yeah, it seems as though so long as like the wound is there, that like like the curse will stay there. But obviously, like if it's healed, then I guess not. If Elizabeth can pull it off, hey, it is what it is.
Well, how I take it, because I looked up, because I was like, is it really silence or was it the other word? And I looked up the definition of, retentance or however it's pronounced, and it means to be reserved. So that's why it's taking away your magic. You're just not using it because you're reserving yourself. And I imagine that also works for sound as well, hence why it's also translated as silence. Because it's like, you're being noisy over there with your magic, shut it up. Yeah. I don't know, but that's just how I took it.
Not bad. I always love to see. Oh no, go ahead.
Because some of these attacks are they're at a point where it's not necessarily that for example, the auditory one we just spoke about, the Bell of Truth. Let's say that it is the transmission, auditory transmission. The scythe actually hit them, so a lot of times when we get into these huge characters or these really big villains at the end of storylines, they get powers that you can't necessarily, with the powers in the series, beat them. And to me, a lot of times it's the issue. How are we supposed to beat this guy who can change all your senses when there's nobody in the verse who should be able to deal with that? And then we find out that you have to have overwhelming speed to beat them. Something that that I feel a lot of authors fail in giving you proper acknowledgement. That's what you could use to beat these people. That's what happened with Aizen. That happened with Kaguya in Naruto. So many big series, they do that. They don't show you a plausible way to beat a villain, or they show you that the villain's impossible to beat, and then they beat him using some mundane tactic.
Friendship, or just beating them in the face.
Yes, to using regular tactics to beat them. That they built up that they couldn't do that. I don't think he's doing that with Mael. Mael has shown a scythe that does physical damage, an explosion attack, a gas one. These are all things that are tangible things, concepts that are on actual battlefields. We can perceive them as in we've seen concepts like them before, so we can find a way to beat them. And I really like that because it doesn't ruin this character. He'll never be too broken. He'll never be stupid. He'll never not be able to be in a fight. I like how he's building up Mael. I just wanted to get out of hand.
Yeah, let's be honest now. The series kind of already got out of it. This isn't too bad. Kaguya, Madara, that was a bit.
Yeah, it's when you create an overpowered villain to that degree, it's like Kishimoto and Kubo and stuff, they have to literally write themselves out of the hole with bullshit, right? Whereas I feel with Mael, his power is great, it's growing, but it's it hasn't tipped to a point where I think he's unstoppable. Because first of all, if you I know for your power levels, you have more than just magic, right? So even if he was able to silence you, if you had the strength to compete with him, you might be okay. And like you said, some of the attacks are tangible and physical, right? There's still ways to deal with him. He's not so out of the range that no one can stop him. If he keeps going this direction, it could be done. But also remember, Melios is already stronger than him and absorbing commandments. So it's there's still a lot of ways for him to go down. Where I feel Suzuki has not written himself in the hole by making this guy unbeatable.
Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Alright. So
Watch him.
we're gonna get into that little debate debacle in a second, or after we finish the commandments, because there are some things that we should elaborate upon. The next point that we'll get to is the next commandment, which is purity or reticence, as you mentioned. In this point in the chapter, well, before we move on to purity, let's just note that they now have an actual physical marking of reticence on their body. Now, I don't remember if Mospier had a similar thing on him, or a similar mark on him, because that would be interesting, but...
Maybe that would explain his constantly disappearing mouth.
That, yeah.
I think that's more of like a I think that's more of like a character design choice because
Yes.
It could have been, but that would be fun if that was the case, though.
I mean, fair enough. I think that's the whole point. They're drawing without a mouth because he's supposed to be silent anyway. So, but yeah.
But after we point that out, now let's go on to the other one. This is a devastating one. We've never seen an instance of purity or its use before, correct?
None that I know of.
Right.
I was really wondering how it was going to work. I figured it had something to do with, like, impure thoughts. And that's about, well, like, oh, I'm going to kill this person, or, oh, I'm going to sex you up. And it's like, nope, you're impure. Down. And that's about what happened.
Yeah. In this instance, just like you said, he inhaled the incense, and then he describes it as, "What is this incense smoke? All of the weight on my body just shot up all at once." And then, this is the part that fucked me up so bad. Naja? Or Naja?
Yeah, Naja.
Yeah.
Okay. Barcher's daughter, the woman who we learned helped.
Sister.
Excuse me, my bad.
He's got the hidden fourth sister.
My bad,
I
forgot. Alright, so Barcher's sister helped Gauther commit his grave sin, and it's been one of the biggest parts of turmoil in his life as a doll. She comes back and she says, "That is the weight of the burden you should bear." So it's definitely this is an illusion caused by the incense, and it has a hateful, hurtful nature. The fact that it pulled out his deepest desires and then used that against him.
I have to admit, like, I don't really like Gauther that much, but I felt for him just because it was like the one thing that ever made that doll feel, and then like, run it in his face, I was like, shit.
And it's telling him you deserve all this. Like it's because it's so much worse because this is Gauther's mental struggle too. It's not just emotional shit. He's literally struggling with this on his own. Like, fuck, like, nigga, knock him out. This is too much sometimes, bro. Like,
yeah, it's so. I tell people all the time, like, bro, this shit is just a tragic. It's just so tragic. All these love stories are tragic, man.
Yeah, and he hasn't failed with, like, having so many of them, because there's a lot, like, there's a lot in here. You can go to any, like, relationship and there's something tragic or something valuable to look into, but they all develop over time and they're all intertwined. It's like this nigga really has a fucking board with strings, like, tied everywhere, bunch of different clip marks. Like, so many of these people's, like, lives have connected and have affected each other. Like, it's interesting to see what's going to develop next. A lot of these guys have a lot more in store for them. But I've rambled on enough. What do you guys think about purity, the essence of purity, and your reactions to it and your thoughts?
I'll wait.
What? Okay.
No. I said I'll wait. Like, I'll let y'all go first.
I really had about all the thoughts I had on it, really. It hit hard, obviously, because that's, like, his biggest, if not only weakness. You know, emotionally, mentally, kinda. But I definitely did like to finally get confirmed on what purity does. So, but yeah.
I will say this. With everything that he's shown, save for, like, love, because, I mean, love was a bit much. The scythe, the bell, and the incense, like, all of these things, he came through and then his moniker, the Angel of Death, like, you think, okay, yeah, you know, he was pretty powerful back then with, you know, Sunshine, Ark, and all that stuff. Yeah, you know, like, real bad towards demons. Now he has all these commandments and everything, and he's manifesting them as weapons and tools and whatnot. Like, these are just really, they're all just really, really, really bad. Like, essentially, like, he is now more of an Angel of Death than he was before. He's now, like, he now seems like more of it too. The incense themselves, I I feel as though it's like he had the idea. I'm gonna try and kill us. It's kind of an impure thought. Like rather no. He technically did have pure thoughts. I'll do anything to protect my friends and stuff. And then from there it's like, all right, bet, and then kind of went down. I'm not sure if what exactly he's targeting Mael. I'm not sure if it's he's targeting like his past sins or the past impurities or the fact that he's trying to hurt him now, which is technically an impure thought. And from there, kind of stalling. It's basically a really good stalling to sealing ability. It's basically a chemical attack. It's very hard to get away from those. Very, very hard to get away from those. I would say that this is probably the closest bit to it, honestly.
When I saw the bell, I was reminded of the trumpet of the end, the second coming and shit. So
or rather, for whom the bell tolls, the bell tolls for thee.
I even said that in my reaction. I was like, oh crap, we're pulling out a bell. Mostly because I didn't really think love had a physical form like the other ones did, so that's Also, have you noticed that they're all kind of church-like items?
Yeah, they're all really. This is all really shit.
The angelic part is coming out. The demonic part, definitely not as much.
The demonic part is
the commandment, I guess, itself.
I think that's more taboo. When you
have to realize this too, though. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. But remember, the Ten Commandments itself is biblical, right? It's related to God and the church and stuff like that, and Jesus Christ. So it actually isn't that strange to see an angel being using those kind of things like that. I know, within the confines of the Nanatsu no Taizai narrative, the commandments are a demon thing, but in actuality, it isn't. So I actually thought that was a cool spin on it because it's almost like it doesn't really belong to you guys. The Ten Commandments were made for humanity by God, for people to not be dickheads.
Correct evil, instruments of correction of judgment, and that's literally how he's using it. It's funny how it has come back full circle like that. The angel of death is judging these sinners
Suzuki, man.
with these commandments.
The man is
the man
a solid writer. I don't like how people try to discredit this series, but it's so well written and it subverts so many things. The man knows what he's doing. You gotta respect him for that.
Now that I think about it, don't the Catholics use incense, a weird smoky thing they swing it?
Yes, they do.
They do.
Okay, yeah. So there you go. Even oh my God, here we go.
If he gains another commandment, watch, it'll be the little thing that they do the little group baptizing thing where they kind of douse you with little drops of water and stuff.
Oh jeez, here we go.
But it's just an idea. It's another thing that's used. I mean, it'll be a candle or something. I don't know. But I mean, if he gets any more, the predictions are going to run wild. But he's going to have to get that cloth a little longer though, because he's running out of room.
Fair enough.
Wow.
So I'm almost. Oh, actually, my bad. That had nothing to do with anything. But yeah, I'm about to go so off topic. Never mind. But yeah, what do you think is happening with Merlin and the scanner and stuff?
Bro,
right now,
that's what I was talking to somebody else. Shout out to all the people who are on Amino and on Reddit on the comment sections.
Yo, flex them titties, by the way.
Yeah, flex them titties.
I thought that was going to be forgotten.
Yo, look at his age. Everybody comment section. Whatever which one is your favorite commandment, favorite power that MAELS has used, and tag it with flex them titties, dog. Tag that shit with flex them titties, dog. Everywhere.
Everywhere.
Wait, was that from the bad audio one?
Yeah.
Because no one knows what we're talking about.
Oh, we started right now, dog. We started right now.
Yeah.
We started right now.
Right.
The reflex has begun.
The reflex has begun. The flex has begun.
We were last stream, guys. We had some audio issues. That's why we weren't able to upload the 279 prediction stream. But when we were discussing parts of 278, we were ogling Diane's voluptuous form.
It's assets, though.
Yes, it's those boisterous assets. Who did the? Here we go. But yeah, stuff just happened last stream. What was it? You were supposed to comment your favorite female character in TAIZAI, and then write down hashtag flex and titties.
Yeah.
That was basically it.
Yeah, so those two. We'll make those ripping questions. Your favorite female in TAIZAI and your favorite commandment that MAELS has
Jericho!
used. Hashtag flex and titties.
Hashtag Gilda. Hashtag vampire bitch.
You don't love her enough if you don't remember.
Hashtag 1,000 Temptations. Hell yeah. Hashtag it's actually blue hair and not blonde. Hashtag she don't need Zelders for shit.
Nah, Zelda's slinging that Gideon meat. You made this small buddy big, you heard?
Get out of here.
Alright, guys. You go to tags, man. Make sure to comment for real. Your favorite female in TAIZAI in the comment section, as well as your favorite commitment that MAELS used. Tag it with flex them titties to get your comments read and discussed in the next Boar Hat Podcast. You already know where we put them. Stay tuned for the review tomorrow. We're going to be doing a quick little TAIZAI review. I know I missed the last one, but I got you boys. Check the link in the description. Naya, before we head out, is there anything that you did recently, any notable video that you want to plug in quick fast, Buck?
Say that again?
You got any notable video that you recently did that you want to plug in?
If you want to see me clap Dustin on stream, you can go watch my last one of my Tower God debate videos. He thought Yuri would lose to Bam, so he's trash. Yeah, man. I just did a review on the Skype, especially if you guys want to check that out. But I mean, if you like Tower of God, definitely come to my channel.
Alright, guys, Skype and Tower of God, check that out on his channel. We'll have the link in the description, as well as for Kishin's. He did a My Hero discussion earlier or this week too. Stay tuned for our content. We have more coming up. This weekend, guys, we're going to be having another official One Punch Man podcast. Stay tuned in all the social medias. We have our Instagram, we have our Twitter, we have all our plugs and Discord down there. We're going to be doing our polls for that stream. Check out all the questions. It's going to be like versus matchups. It's going to be possibly coming up. We're going to have favorite character polls. Get your opinions out there, because we're going to talk about that shit. We're going to talk about that shit. That shit.
And bring out the headcanon too, because can't be out here with only Grimms, you know.
Fucking yo!